All right, man. Did you draw your beautiful house yet, or what?
I did. Oh my god, I spent so much time on it.
Okay, wait. Hold
Okay, I
up,
didn't
hold
spend
up.
that much time
Take
on
a
it.
picture and send it to me.
Here, open up your Facebook.
Dude, you spent so much time on that.
Yeah, I know, I told you. This is the Neighbors IRL podcast, a weekly challenge podcast hosted by Eddie Sang and Daryl Lee. This week's challenge, Gratitude Diary.
Why would you do this?
You said draw a house? That was my house, man.
It's a very beautiful house. Unlike my original attempt, there's color. You got the brick details in there. Were you inspired by the detail that Betty put in? And then you said to yourself, oh, I gotta do just as good.
I didn't want to make a black and white house, and then one thing led to another, and then I just fucking Van Gogh'd it. It was pretty good.
That's a really good house, though. It's pretty beautiful.
So let's see your house.
Well, you already saw it, man. I literally didn't improve upon it. I can send you my cover letter if you want.
Did you digitize it?
Yeah, the drawing I sent you, that was a digital drawing.
Oh.
But don't worry. I'll send Betty your drawing, and then she will stylize it and make the podcast art for us. It's going to be fantastic.
Okay, wait, but how can we fit all that into one square? It needs to be square, right? The podcast art needs to be square.
Yeah. So the house is... Dude, didn't I draw it for you? Here, I'll draw it again right now. So here's your house. Listen. I'm going to draw your house right now.
Okay.
And then here's Eddie. And then here's me. And then here's my house. I'm not going to actually draw my house. And then I spelled neighbors wrong. But this is pretty much a square. Here, let me take a picture for you. Oh, man. You know what's really, really interesting podcast material? Listening someone describe how they're drawing something and then taking a picture of how they're drawing something without being able to see those pictures. It's very
it's alright.
exciting.
It'll be in the show notes.
All right, I sent a picture to you of how our podcast art would look.
Yeah, that's not
Check
bad.
it out.
That's not bad. So
I know.
Did you?
Well, because the text needs to be really big. I don't know if you've seen podcast art on your phone, but the square gets pretty small. Takes up maybe a tenth of your screen in the smallest, and then 100th of your screen. Wow, my estimation skills are horrid. But you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Especially on your lock screen, the podcast art's pretty small, so you don't need all that detail. You just need the broad strokes, man. Broad strokes.
But Daryl, we have a problem.
What is our problem?
The problem is that we found out that there's already a podcast called the Neighbors Podcast.
I don't see how that's a problem, because first of all, listen. There's multiple Neighbors podcasts.
Okay.
Actually, there's just one. It's actually a pretty big one. It's
okay.
Neighbors podcast hosted by Jacob Lewis for Nashville Public Radio. So they seem pretty legitimate. They've been doing it since 2014. Produced 10 episodes. They recently produced one in 2017. April 4th, 2017, the Oregon Trailblazer. But here's the thing. Their spelling of neighbors does not have a U. It's not the Canadian spelling. So I think we'll be fine. If you actually Google Neighbors podcast, the correct spelling, the King's English or the Queen, it's now the Queen's English. Well, it'll be fine.
I don't know, man. I don't want to be sued by this podcast.
It'll be fine. It's Nashville Public Radio, not National Public Radio. They don't have the funds. Oh, whoa. Nashville Public Radio is NPR. RIP.
Yeah?
They have a lot of money. NPR employees number.
Okay.
They have, let's see, NPR fact sheet. They have 832 employees, an operating budget for $216 million. I don't think they have money or time for us. It'll be fine.
Okay, if you're sure.
Or we can call ourselves the Neighborhood Podcast. Is there a Neighborhood Podcast? Let's check.
I don't know, man.
Is there a word for friends and neighbors in the same word? Friend birds.
Friend birds.
Neighfriends. Neighfriends.
Neighbor.
Neighfriends is a Reddit user. And if you say Neighfriends podcast, nothing. Perfect. Did you have any other ideas about this?
I don't know, man. The name of a podcast it's like the hardest part about the podcast.
Nah, I think if we just did neighbors with a U, we'll be fine.
You know what? We'll go with it. We'll go with it until
Neighbors with a U?
Yeah,
Canadian
the
neighbor
Canadian
podcast.
way. The right way.
Or we can copy Do by Friday harder and just call ourselves Do by Friday.
No, do by
Add
Sunday,
copyright
because usually
infringement.
Sundays are recording days.
Do by Sunday. There you go.
Done.
Do by Sunday. How long did it take you to come up with that joke? Because I came up with the exact same joke. That was gonna be my ultimate punchline, and you stole it from me.
We might as well just call this the Copycat Podcast at this point. Holy shit. Oh my god.
Copyright infringement?
No, we'll call it Freeboot, the Freebooting Podcast.
What about the carbon copy? How did someone think of a carbon
What?
copy as a title? Never mind, someone else has it. How about the duplication?
What's Tesla's naming scheme?
Model 1, Model 2, Model 3. No one else has duplication. What about duplication? We can call it the photocopy. We can call it the match. The like. I'm just reading synonyms. How about the pirate? Or the twin? Replication. How about the replication podcast? Dude, Neighbors was such a perfect title idea.
I
Wasn't it?
know. I know. We even drew the houses.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to go with Neighbors since we drew the houses. You're right.
Let's just go with Neighbors.
Yep, it's done. Neighbors.
All right. Done.
Not changing it.
Done.
We'll get sued. Lifetime plus 70 years, due by Sunday.
Dude.
So it will say Neighbors in bold letter right at the bottom, and then in tiny letters it will say due by Sunday. Do you use the Reddit app on your phone?
Yes, I do. Why do you ask?
Okay, because I tried downloading it because, as you remember, I have a time tracker on my phone and laptop, so just to keep track of how much time I'm spending on Reddit.
Okay.
But I don't find the app as enjoyable as the websites.
Wait, why not?
If that makes sense. Okay, first of all, it feels slower. I'm pretty sure it could be placebo. And, like, say you're going through the pictures subreddit.
Okay.
I don't want to click on each one and have it take up the entire screen and then have to backspace it. On the Chrome version of Reddit, if I just tap the picture to kind of preview it before going into the thread, it just enlarges it. That's all I want, to enlarge it.
I don't know about the Android versions, but on the iPhone versions, everything is already expanded. So the picture just
Nope.
shows.
Well,
What?
yeah, the picture shows, but it's really small. Like a thumb size. Literally a thumbnail size. Is that why they call it thumbnail?
Oh
Pictures?
no.
It's literally a thumbnail size.
What?
Yeah.
No, you could
I would take a
set it.
screenshot for you, but I'm too lazy for you right now.
You could get
to
it.
do
You could
Okay,
get it to
anyways.
expand everything.
Problem number 2. When you're actually reading the text hierarchies or text trees in the Chrome version, you can collapse an entire conversation or an entire thread, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
In the phone version, you can't. What the hell?
What?
The only way to collapse it is if you click on the 3 dot settings button on the right side, like of each of the threads, and select collapse thread. But on the phone version, there's this giant arrow or excuse me, the Chrome version, there's just a giant arrow on the left side, and you click it, and it's gone. I have problems with the Android version, I guess.
Yeah, I like the iOS version. The iOS version's pretty good.
Okay, I'm gonna have to try it when I come back. I just prefer the Chrome version. I don't know why. Same with the Gmail application. It's pretty garbage. I really prefer the Gmail on the browser. I don't know. Maybe I'm just biased towards browsers because I use it, but I feel browsers are better than apps if it's possible to have them on the browser. Does that make sense? Because listen. On a browser, you have an option of doing anything. On an app, you have the option of doing one thing.
Yeah, but it like limits you in a good way so that you, like, theoretically, the app developers should be making the app in a way that it just makes sense to use it. Like, all these things that you're kind of just saying, for Android at least, it just, to me...
I will agree. If the features on the application version of Reddit and Gmail worked as well, or worked in a way that I liked, or I could customize, then I'd use the app version. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a browser version of Messenger and WhatsApp and Instagram and Facebook, but I don't use those. I use the apps. To be fair, I haven't tried the browser version. The browser version could be better for me, for all I know.
On mobile?
But on mobile, yes. I'm only talking about mobile right now. Computer,
yeah.
You definitely don't use the app.
Okay, like, to me, it might be different from Apple to Android, but to me, like, all these things that you're kind of saying are issues, I don't feel like they're actual issues. I think you need to play with the settings. Play with the settings. Let me know how it goes.
There's
think
no
you'll like
settings on the Reddit app.
How?
Okay, top right, there's refresh and card view. Like, you can choose between card view and not card view. There's a subreddit, and then there's the join Reddit. You can on and off night mode. Night mode's amazing for Reddit. By the way. I don't know if you played
auto
with
night
the
mode
night
is
mode in
sweet.
the Reddit app. There's like an autoplay.
I set mine to auto night mode past a certain time.
Oh no, mine doesn't do it on a certain times. I do it always. Night mode always is better. A white background for any browser or application or any user interface is horrible. Because white is really bright and it strains your eyes.
It does. Even during the daytime?
Even during the daytime. It's always better to have like a black background or a blue background. Anything that's not white, basically. Like, that's one thing I really don't like about the Instagram feed, is that on your normal feed, like the home feed, the entire background is white. It just makes all the pictures look like shit. But if you look into the search bar or the explore bar or whatever, and you click on the videos you may like, the top and bottom of the videos, like the background, is a blacked out, like a grayed out version of like the next video or the previous video.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you see exactly what I'm saying?
Mostly,
So
yeah.
why do they have to subject us to a white background when even in their own app, there's a version that says, wow, white is pretty awful to strain your eyes on. Here, have a darkened background for you to easily look at your videos you may like. And same with YouTube. YouTube on the app's actually not that bad, but on the browser, on a computer, they have the theater mode. And I use the theater mode 100% because it blacks out like the left and right. But I still hate how there's white around. I don't know. Listen, would you rather watch a video on full screen or not full screen?
I almost always full screen.
Yeah, so imagine if it wasn't full screen, just like the same small size, but it was just blacked out all around, like all the borders. Wouldn't that be way preferable to having white?
Yeah. What, do you use Chrome in a dark mode? Do you use like a dark theme for your Chrome?
I actually don't, but the only reason I use Chrome on my phone is for Reddit, so and like doing cursory Google searches. I don't know, is there settings? Where's the dark mode?
You can have Chrome dark mode on your PC, right?
I actually don't know.
I think you might be able to. Might. Seems like a feature.
I'm not sure.
Seems like a feature that would be pretty good.
Uh, Here we go. Site settings, cookies, location, camera, microphone. No, I don't see anything about dark mode or night mode. There should be though. There should be. Didn't the iPhone OS recently get a night mode as well? Like built into the OS?
No, not to the OS, but we did receive something like Flux or Flux.
Okay, yeah, the new Android 7.0 has like a built-in blue light filter. But
Yeah,
I
it's
kind of
awesome.
want a built-in night mode for everything. I'm sure it's pretty hard to program or whatever, but it's something I really want. I'm
Well, it
just very
depends on the
picky
apps as
on
well,
this
right?
stuff,
Like
I
just
guess.
some of your apps, well, like maybe Gmail has like that white and red color scheme, the bright white.
Yeah, but if it was a black and red color scheme, I'd still know it's Gmail. Like I understand like having themes and like themed colors or colors that is associated with the brand, but
Well, no.
you
Well, what
could
I'm trying to say
definitely
is
do a
it's
dark
hard
mode
coded.
version.
Like it's up to the
I don't know
developer.
if Reddit.com on the Chrome version can have a dark mode or a night mode. I'm pretty sure anyone could do it.
Yeah, but that's on the developers, right? Like
I'm saying developers should do it. Yeah, we're
developers,
agreeing here.
please,
Perfect.
please, if you're a developer,
Perfect.
if you're a developer and you're programming
Perfect.
anything, just make sure it has a night mode in it.
Please give me a night mode. Follow up, copyright 2011, John Siracusa. Have you listened to any of John Siracusa's podcasts?
No, I haven't. They sound really interesting, actually.
He's just a very nerdy nerd who talks about nerdy Apple things. I don't even have any Apple products, but I enjoy his analysis of Apple as a company and Apple products and the direction of the company and all that. He has a programming background, so he's able to talk about the technical aspects of each of the products or whatever, but he also has some business sense or business acumen, so he understands like the marketing and strategy of all of it and kind of directions. So he does some very interesting analysis on Apple products. You know how you kind of like watching MKBHD because
Yeah.
it's just really good critique or reviews, and it
Yeah.
has a very critical eye. Yeah, that's kind of like John Siracusa, but for Apple products. And by very critical eye, I mean he's the most critical person you'll ever meet. He complains about every little detail, but he does it in such a expert way that you enjoy his complaining. He's literally an expert complainer. The reconcilable differences. They brought up a really cool our world in data. Just look at the website. Basically, it breaks down the progress of civilization in like 6 different charts or six different important charts. So, they do a lot of charts. Oh, they have a lot of charts. Never mind. Or like 6 different topics of charts. So they have some on like world population growth, life expectancy, child mortality, fertility, suicide, life expectancy, global health, human height, famines, energy production, CO2 and gas emissions, forest cover, land cover, technological progress, income inequality, global extreme poverty, economic growth, child labor, happiness and life satisfaction, human development index, work hours, light, public spending, corruption, migration, international trade, war and peace, nuclear weapons, democracy. Basically, they break down this website breaks down the progress of humanity in easy recognizable charts.
That's not too bad.
And just show our world in data. And they
Visual
were talking
data?
about it.
That's nice.
So they were talking about it this week because of like, I don't know if you noticed, but in the U.S. they're having quite a bit of a turmoil in their government, and
Okay.
some people in the government might be thinking, life doesn't seem to be as good as it used to be. But if you look through all these charts, so let's just do life expectancy, for example. And it's nothing but an upward trend since 1750. Like in Sweden in 1750, your life expectancy is 48 years. That seems pretty shit. 2015 in Italy, your life expectancy is 73 years.
Nice.
That's a pretty long time.
Not bad.
And then let's click at the child mortality chart here. There was a world share of dying in the first 5 years, 43%. You literally had a coin toss chance of your child dying in the 1800s. That's so shitty. Like, just think about the cultural shift, or like even the mindset shift of human beings and parents knowing that they don't have to pump out two children or two childs for every one child they want. Right now in 2015, it's at 5% worldwide, and in developed nations, it's practically zero. Like if you scroll down to the country ones, South Korea in 1950 was 340, and now in 2013 is basically zero. Like it's all trending towards zero for child mortality. That's amazing. Anyways, the point is that life is pretty good nowadays.
I mean, this website that you linked me, like my first impression, it is pretty overwhelming just to take a look at that list and just to try to.
There's a
like,
lot of data, but
at a first glance,
just look at the ones you're interested in.
Yeah.
Child hunger.
I mean, at a first glance, I take a look at this and I'm like, holy shit, this is a lot of stuff.
Well, just humans are getting better at being humans, and it's weird because there is an expectation now in society and humanity that progress will always move forward. Like tomorrow will always be better than yesterday. But for a lot of our history, like humans' history, that hasn't been the case. It's kind of been cyclical in terms of progress or even backwards. So having a culture that knows that tomorrow will always be better, it's very fascinating. Yeah, and it's even weird that people think that life is still pretty crap sometimes. Or it's interesting that the entire political game in the U.S. the recent presidential election campaign was basically ran on a message that said, we will make tomorrow as good as it was in some mysterious past. Like, make America great again. It's not make America better, it's make America great again, thinking that there was some snapshot in time in the past where America was really great. But if you look at all the numbers, America's as great as it ever will be, or it ever was. I don't know, it's interesting. There's definite, society and culture issues and income inequality that lead people to believe that America is no longer great, I think, but it's life's pretty good.
Okay, so this week's challenge was to write 3 to 5 things that you were grateful for every day in attempts to improve your mood or something like that. But anyways, it's just an experiment to see how it'd go. Daryl, how'd you do?
I don't think I did as well as the Instagram challenge. Like Instagram, I put up a picture every day, thought about it, wrote a caption, did some photo editing with Snapseed, whatever, all that fancy stuff. But this gratitude diary, I didn't really take the time every day to do it. I kind of did it haphazardly. There's like a to-do reminder on my phone, and whenever it popped up, I would just snooze it, and then snooze it, and then sometimes I would dismiss it for the day. Sometimes I would like take a minute and think about it. I try to do it every day, but I kind of did it like every other day type thing, and then sometimes it'd be like the middle of the night, just thinking about my thoughts, and then I have to do the gratitude diary, or I'd be falling asleep and I'm like, wow, I'm really thankful for X, Y, or Z, and I'm like, oh right, the gratitude diary, and then I'd write it down. So there wasn't really a structure for me for this week, but
okay. I mean,
I have a list. I have a list. How did you do?
I kind of had the same sort of feeling. So the way I think about it is that if you're trying to be grateful for everything, like you're just gonna end up failing. Because if you're grateful for everything, are you really grateful for anything? If you're like, oh, I'm so grateful
Eddie
for this.
saying philosopher 2017.
I don't know. It's kind of like if everything's special, does that mean everything's just average? So
Yes.
So that's one way of putting it. So 3 of 5, I still thought it was a little too much. I tried doing 1 a day, but end up doing around 2 a day. Just, thinking about things that I'm really grateful for. And it turns out a lot of things that I'm grateful for on my list are worldly pleasures. For example,
that sounds about right. You do live in a pretty first world nation.
Yes.
First world problems.
Okay, so how do you want to do this? Should we just go through our lists and try to see what's in it, or how do you think we should do this?
I don't know, man. This is your challenge. Digga challenge.
Oh my gosh! All right.
Dun,
Okay.
dun, dun. It's so perfect. I love the drums.
All right. I will go through my list and we'll see where it goes. So Monday, I.
Oh wait, hold up. You wrote down which day you did what? I didn't do that. Okay, but keep going.
Okay, whatever. So
Monday.
On Monday, tipped over my coffee.
Fantastic.
And there's this really amazing technology called a lid. It completely saved my drink. Super grateful, super thankful. Monday.
Wait, hold up. Your coffee.
From my mom.
What store did you get your coffee from?
I went to this amazing Canadian chain called Tim Hortons that is now owned, I think, by a Brazilian company. But besides the point.
I didn't know that.
No, I don't. I think they own Burger King. Who knows?
I don't know. Did your coffee lid have a hot stopper?
No, it's Tim Hortons, man. No hot stoppers. There's no
no hot stoppers.
Tim Hortons? Nah.
Yeah.
Technology's not there, man.
it's a plastic plug.
Nah, it's not. It's not the time.
Is it actually called hot stopper, or that's just a CGP grade thing?
You know what? I'm going with it.
That was a CGP grade.
I'm
thing.
spreading it. I'm spreading the hot stopper love. Anyways, Tuesday. Tuesday, I went to a Chinese cuisine. It's called dim sum. It's where they serve you a bunch of food from,
dim sum's the best.
Yeah, from various sort of cooked food. And it turns out that in that meal, about 5 to 6 different animals died for my cause. Thank you, animals. It's your fault for being so tasty, but you know what? It's good. I love the consumerism. Wednesday, my brother came home from university, just to visit. And I thought to myself, having a sibling is great. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so grateful for... Thank you, Mom, for giving birth. Maybe not, but thank you, Mother, for giving birth to a second child. Thursday, Thursday is a hard day. And what better to start Thursday than fresh black coffee? Thank you, consumerism. Appreciate you, local roasters. Friday, I was...
Wait, hold up. You buy local coffee beans to grind in your fancy burr grinder?
Yeah, I didn't really tell you, but
wait, don't you have an AeroPress?
Snob now. Yes.
Yeah, you bought an AeroPress. Okay. So how can you still enjoy Tim's coffee, man? As far as I know, once you buy an AeroPress, you must hate Starbucks, you must hate Second Cup, you must hate Tim Hortons.
Oh, no. I bought the coffee for someone else. I bought donuts. But I almost spilled it. But we don't need to talk about that.
And you spilled someone else's coffee. Or you spilled your own coffee.
The lid saved me. It was someone else's coffee. The lid saved me. So Friday, I was taking pictures for my Instagram, eddie.edits. Gonna be linked below.
Yeah, I saw your watch. Wait. Off topic. All the watches on your Eddie Edits, are they all owned by you?
Yeah, just a total of 3 watches.
What? Okay, wait 1 second. Oh, yeah, you take the pictures of the same watches. I thought they were a different watch every time.
No.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You have 11 pictures of the same 3 watches.
Yes.
What a trick.
I know, right?
Make yourself look super rich. Turns out you're super poor.
Well,
Actually, those watches aren't that cheap,
well, they're
are
not
they?
cheap, but yeah, well, just
Wait, so were you
make more
thankful for
watch
the
friends.
watches or for the Instagram?
oh no. Thank you, lens manufacturers, for having lenses and engineering and precision and glass for me to take pictures
So
of.
Galileo.
Thank you, Galileo. Thank you, Tesla. Thank you,
Newton. He did light physics.
Van Gogh. Anyways, so on Saturday, I went to a Japanese skewer place. So I just like to give thanks and gratitude for international cuisines, especially Japanese cuisines. My favorite cuisine. Thank you for being so tasty.
Japanese food is very tasty.
Oh, dude, they just know how to make food. And what pairs really well with Japanese food? I like to give my gratitude to ice cold beer, just excellent. And I'd like to give thanks to an Instagrammer called food.time, THYME. Thank you, food Instagrammers, for spreading the love of this food and posting on Instagram so that other people can see and enjoy this food. And then on Sunday, I went to Bubble Tea.
Wait. What beer did you have?
It's got to be Sapporo, man. Got to be Sapporo. Japanese beer, Japanese cuisine.
Did you go to Japan Haiko, located in Koreatown?
I did. It was alright.
Why is there a Japanese restaurant in Koreatown?
I'm not sure. I think it's run by Korean people, but let's not talk about that. Talking about what we're grateful for. And on Sunday,
All right, keep going.
Sunday, I drank one bubble tea. Thank you, expensive luxury drink markets, for allowing such expensive drinks to be sold at huge margins. Thank you. And that's it. That's my list.
Wait, so did you say Cha Time as your last one?
No,
Are you
expensive
thankful for
luxury
Cha
drink
Time?
markets.
Just expensive luxury drinks in general, not Cha Time in specific?
No, I have to thank
Particular?
the other people in this same target market for allowing this market to exist.
Okay. That's a pretty good list of pretty much all food and drinks and more food and more drinks.
Worldly pleasures, my friend. Worldly pleasures.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty good thing to be grateful for.
Yes.
Acknowledging that you live a privileged lifestyle, Eddie. How is that middle class lifestyle doing you?
You know what? It's slightly above average. That's all I gotta say about that.
Slightly above average. Don't worry, it's only the best time to be alive, according to our world and data.
Okay.
The best time.
All right. I'm excited to hear about your list.
That was a pretty good list. So the first day, I only wrote down Monday for the first 3 items, and then afterwards it was just a I don't know what days is what.
Oh, that's fine.
But the first
That's
day,
fine.
I thought to myself, what am I thankful for? First of all, I'm thankful for having a phone to type this list on.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know about you, but more and more I'm running my life off of my phone. My phone has my to-do list. It has my notes as reminders for everything. It gives me a list to write down this list. Gives me a communication tool to talk with my friends, keep up with the world, post on Instagram. Gives me my news. It gives me my podcasts. It's the medium to which most of my modern life is run. And I think that a world pre-2010 iPhone. When did the iPhone come out? Whatever.
Okay.
The world before smartphones. It must have been a terrible world. I'm not sure how people lived or functioned.
Like savages.
To be fair, I did function for a bit without a phone, but I mean, yeah. So basically, I'm saying thank you, Steve Jobs, for giving your gift to the world. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Steve.
Do you use to-do apps or anything? You use the calendar on your phone to remind you of appointments or whatever?
Yes, I do.
And the camera on your phone, would that be your secondary lens?
Yes,
I mean, the
would.
phone does everything, really. I think eventually the phone will be able to take better pictures than your Sony A7S. You know, you never know what technological innovations will come up next. Anyways, the next item I was thankful for on Monday was podcasts. I enjoy the fact that podcasts fill all the silent moments in my life and that they can impart me with some entertainment or some news or some thought-provoking conversations in my spare time.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to put YouTube.
Thanking podcasts on podcasts. YouTube. Why are you thankful for YouTube?
Thank you, YouTube, for allowing me to be entertained for countless hours of my life. Thank you, YouTube.
A little bit of waste.
A little bit of waste, but you know what? It's alright. It's okay.
It's okay. My school grades were definitely affected by YouTube. The amount of hours where I was not supposed to be YouTubing and was YouTubing. Rip. Okay, next item. I have my bicycle. Not the bicycle bike I have in particular, but bicycles in general. I think they are a great mode of transportation and are definitely one of the top 50 things that helped the humanity improved our world and data type scenario. I mean, I'm sure you know, bicycles is like the form of transportation. Super efficient.
They're like...
Cities are getting more and more bike friendly. Toronto's getting pretty bike friendly.
Yeah, bikes are like 90% efficient, I think. Just an okay bike is 80% efficient, I think. Bikes are really efficient.
It just feels like a natural tool that allows humans to do more than they ought to. Like, riding a bike doesn't feel artificial at all. It doesn't feel like trying to use a video editing software or, I don't know, pre-iPhone phones. It feels supernatural. Okay. Anyways, next item I have on here. So this is probably Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm not sure. But I was thankful for my university education. In particular, my loan-free university education. So I'm really thankful that my parents had the financial acumen to save up some money to help pay for my schooling. And I'm really thankful that I am not a in-debt person at the moment. As they said on Dubai Friday, a debt slave to society.
Holy shit, you actually thought long and hard about this, man. I just looked at my world around me and I was like, yeah, dude, I love food and I love these things. Wow, you thought long and hard about these things.
Well,
kudos to you.
It takes me quite a while to fall asleep. I'm pretty sure I have some sort of sleeping disorder. Doesn't matter. So in the 1 or 2 hours between lying down and actually falling asleep, you can get through a lot of thinking. So yeah, this is where most of the items on the list came through. The next item on my list is my engineering degree. So I'm pretty grateful that I don't know about the degree in particular, but I do enjoy the methodology or processes of thinking that have developed in myself through school. Like just the way of approaching the world and solving problems that I learned whilst tackling the impossible degree that is engineering. I think, but to be fair, mining engineering is a pretty simple degree if we're going to be honest and compare it to other engineering. But I still think I learned enough. I just like the way that I think and process and problem solve. and it is an enjoyable experience to do all those things. It makes me sound really nerdy, but that's okay. Okay, next item on the list I have is some good food. So yeah, basically your entire list. I had some fantastic Italian pizza at this restaurant called Cibo in Calgary recently, and that pizza is pretty good. Very delicious. Very Italian.
Was it wood fired?
Yes, it is a wood-fired oven.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude,
So,
oh man.
I mean, if it's not wood-fired oven pizza, why even bother,
I know, right?
You got to get the thin Italian crust with the proper tomato sauce and some extra virgin olive oil.
Damn, man. I want pizza now.
They have a really good mushroom pizza. I don't know what type of mushrooms they put on there, but it's like 3 different mushroom pizzas, and it's just the meatiest pizza or mushrooms I've had in a while. It's kind of like portobello mushrooms, but they weren't portobello mushrooms, if that makes any sense. Like just the deep flavor of portobello mushrooms and the meatiness of it. I sent you... Have you ever watched BuzzFeed's Worth It videos?
Worth It?
Yeah, so basically they go to 3 different restaurants. Like one cheap one moderately priced one, and one ridiculously expensive one.
Oh yeah.
And they eat food at... Yeah, so they came up with the pizza one. And I think the Battalion pizza looked very interesting on that video.
I've only seen the Korean barbecue one, but other than that, that was pretty entertaining.
Barbecue.
It's pretty entertaining.
Yes.
I recommend.
The next item on my list is the money I have saved up.
Ooh.
So I don't know how to put the proper words to this to make me sound not douchey, but I do have a lot of money saved up.
Okay.
Well, basically, like more than 50% of my paycheck, I've put it away in various TFSAs or savings accounts or floating monies in an emergency fund, whatever. I don't know if you've seen the statistics on like how much money an average person have saved up, but it's not a lot. Like if most people lost their jobs tomorrow, they wouldn't have any money to bank on, and I'm just glad that I have some financial sense to think about it, I guess. I don't know. Have you ever been on the personal finance Reddit?
Sometimes I do. I haven't really taken a look at that much. What's your opinion on it?
They have some pretty good guidelines and rules, and I've definitely used them as a resource. I think a lot of people don't like budgeting because they think budgeting or keeping track of your money somehow limits your freedom in life. Like it limits your choices of what to buy and what you can enjoy and like what you can purchase, basically, right? But the way to think about it, and I think about it, is if you're not saving money for yourself for an emergency or whatever situation that would eventually happen to you, that might cut off your source of income or might like just overturn your financial situation in some way, you are killing your future self's freedom in that sense. Like you basically screw over your future self's entire life and their freedom, right? So instead of thinking of it as you're limiting your choice, therefore you are limiting your freedom, think about it as if you don't think about it and you don't save and you don't control yourself, you are destroying the freedom of your future self. Because a person who can't live their life because they aren't in a financially well position has no freedom. At least in our society.
Yeah.
Maybe if you move to a developing nation, you can enjoy yourself for a very low cost of living. Yeah. There's actually a website that compares cost of living in different countries or different cities across Canada.
I've never thought about it like that. That's actually a really interesting perspective on that.
Well, I don't know. Talking with you just peripherally about it, I feel like you do have some great financial sense. Well, like better than most people I know, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't feel like people take it as seriously as they should. Like,
I mean, I could.
for example, like someone would fret and spend a lot of time and effort choosing what phone they want, or trying to find the best deal on groceries, or driving across town to find gas that's 4 cents cheaper per liter. But you're spending all that time in the gas example to save $4 if you have a 50-liter tank, like $4 maximum. So you spend a lot of time and effort about $4, but like a retirement saving could literally save you hundreds of thousands of dollars, and people don't even put a minute's thought into what retirement they think about, or like what type of retirement savings plans they think about, right?
Yeah.
Like it's the disparity. If you just think about it from like a numbers point of view, it doesn't really make any sense. Very irrational actors, as an economist would put it.
Yeah, it's all about the
Anyways.
opportunity costs and the cost savings and the effort.
Yeah, exactly. So just get a job if you can. Pretty hard to get a job sometimes. Save a lot of your paycheck. Budget. Get an emergency fund. Top recommendations. And like take advantage, if you're in Canada, of that tax-free savings account. It's pretty sweet. Yeah, I will admit, talking about like all these tax-free savings accounts or RRSPs or whatever, it makes us sound very privileged. Maybe some people don't have enough of a salary or whatever to think about these things.
Oh, definitely.
So we do sound pretty privileged right now, but I think no matter what financial situation you're in, you should take it very seriously.
Yeah, for sure.
Because again, you could be screwing over your future self. Someone without financial thinking or financial sense is not really free, I don't think. Yeah. And
yeah,
never.
You got
wait. Hold on. One more thing I want to say.
Okay.
Do you always pay off your credit card every month?
Yes.
Okay. Why do people not do that though? I know some people who don't pay off their credit card. I don't understand. It's 20% interest every year. It's a lot of interest, man.
I didn't even know that was a question you could even ask me. Do you pay off your credit card every month? I'm like, yes. Is that? I don't know.
Question? Remember when Max on Do by Friday stated, like, I didn't want to get a credit card because I don't want to spend money that I don't have, which is a good way to think about it. You should never use a credit card to spend money you don't have or you can't currently pay off. But, I mean, if you're spending money on your credit card that you have already, that's fine.
Yes.
But the point is, pay off your credit cards, please.
Yes, people, please.
Common sense.
If you're listening to this right now, go look at your bank statement.
Here's the weird thing. Like, people think... I don't think this is common sense for people who haven't thought about it. Like, it's common sense to us because we've actually thought about it a little, but I don't know. Okay, next item on here. I got the internet. So, speaking of research and financial sense and Reddit, I'm very thankful for the internet because... I wouldn't know how to live without the internet, really. It sounds very millennial of me, but it's true. It's a very good communication device, and I think it's pretty... Like, how did people communicate before the internet? I'm not really sure. Being able to Google whatever you need. We've discussed this before. Google's basically the perfect parent. Well, almost perfect. We'll see.
Yeah.
Currently, it's a pretty good parent. The next item I have on here is being in a first world nation or a developed nation, also known as Canada. Canada's a pretty sweet country to be in. I really enjoy.
Yes, it is.
Living in Canada.
Thank you, Canada.
Yeah, I think Canada is something for everyone. And I think Canada is basically a little bit poorer version of the United States with less people, but we have healthcare, so eat that, America. We have healthcare.
We do have healthcare.
I guess I'm thankful for healthcare as well. Healthcare is a pretty good perk to have, I think. I don't know what you think, but I'm glad that I don't have to choose between potentially keeping my fingers or paying off a large hospital bill.
Oh, you've seen that as well. Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
Psycho, was it?
You see, that's the other paradoxical thing. Like the recent healthcare bill that failed in like late March, early April. I don't remember when it failed, but they're arguing all these like you got to give people the freedom of choice. You got to let the market run its course on the healthcare system so that to like make it truly free or whatever their marketing was. But how can people be truly free if they're choosing between crappy healthcare or crappy healthcare? You know, like
Yeah, well, also
government's
another
complicated.
thing is
It's a whole
insurance.
topic.
Insurance is completely different rabbit hole to go into.
It's I think the best summation I can put of it is in a I don't know the exact words for it, like the economist, like there's no really market in healthcare. Like if you were put in a situation where okay, you could have the surgery for $1 million or you can die, there's no one's gonna be like, okay, let me think about it and shop around and try to get a better price on the surgery that I need to live. You put an unlimited value on your life, so you can't really put a free market or like have 100% private insurance in that system. I don't know. It's a very complicated topic.
For sure.
I don't think the way the States is doing it is the way to go. Do you listen to Dan Carlin at all?
No.
He did he has a podcast show where it's just like him talking about whatever.
Okay.
He did this analysis of the U.S. healthcare system, where he just said, okay, forget about all the politics, forget about privatization, healthcare companies versus the people versus the government, whatever. Just look at the numbers, and it's weird. Like, the U.S. spends the largest amount of government money as a percentage of GDP than any other country.
Okay.
Yet they have the shittiest healthcare results.
Holy moly. That sounds about right.
It was a very interesting episode. If you just look at it from a numbers point of view, like it looks like in terrible return on investment. Like Canada spends less money percentage as GDP. I think you and I would agree Canada has like the best healthcare. Well, better healthcare than the United States. Canada's spending 10.7%. And US is spending 17.1%. That's almost twice as much. They're spending twice as much of a larger GDP on healthcare. And they have shittier healthcare. And if anything, they should have twice as good healthcare.
Exactly. They should have 70% better healthcare.
Oh yeah, whatever.
Minimum.
It's if you just look at the numbers, it's crazy. I have two more on my list, but they're pretty long.
Okay.
If you want to talk about it.
Let's go.
In 2 words, I'm really thankful for self-awareness. I don't know how to describe it, but I think, in one sentence, I think I am a better person now. Wow, that sounds really cocky. I think I'm a better person now than I was, for example, when I was in high school, or like as a younger person. I don't know where it came from or whatever, but I feel like I've become a lot more mature / less of a jerk / douchebag than when I was a kid. I think there's a lot of reasons for this. I don't know specifically which ones are the most important or whatever, but I don't know. Do you get that sense, Eddie? Am I a better person now than I was 5 years ago?
Yes. I will have to say yes, you are. I think.
What do you think? What do you think has what changes do you think made you come to that conclusion?
I think you have a more mature look on life. You're more reliable. I think that's the main one.
Yeah, I think
you're
maturity.
Just more reliable. You're like, showing up on time, doing things that you'll say you'll do, having a plan, doing things. I think it's accumulation of life experiences, school, the environment, hanging with other engineers. I think engineers are pretty cool. Yeah.
I think some engineers are pretty socially inept. I think engineers as a whole are pretty socially inept. But yes, I think some engineers are pretty nice. I don't know. I guess this is all personal thoughts or personal experiences. I don't know. I just feel engineers as a whole aren't as socially or aren't as sociable as most people.
Yeah. But, some. Hey, there's always segments like that in every group.
That is true. But I think engineers in general are worse. For the self-awareness thing, I think like the biggest realizations I've had are that you're not your feelings or emotions. Like I don't think being controlled by your emotions or letting emotions drive your every action is a smart way to live. If that makes sense.
Yeah, you just gotta.
That's one of the realizations I came to. Like, being frustrated or being angry doesn't give you an excuse to act like a douchebag. You know, and you have to recognize that you are separate from your feelings. Just because you're feeling a certain way doesn't mean you are a certain way. If that makes sense. Yeah, and being able to just take a second and relax and think about it thoroughly is something that's pretty important, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you say emotions, like really, you're just referring to negative emotions, right? That's what people typically say. But I think a better way to phrase it would just be like, because is there really any negative side to letting happiness, for example? Can you have too much happiness?
Yeah, for sure. If you're too excited about something and you jump into it before thinking too much. I don't know. Yeah, I guess happiness less, but
a little bit less.
Or excitement, emotions less, but yeah. I think emotions as a whole, I don't think emotions should be completely disregarded as a.
Yeah, but in any
like
ways,
you shouldn't live as an emotionless person. Like you should definitely feel angry and feel despair, feel happiness, feel excitement, and realize that you are feeling it and that it's not completely worthless as a thought, but I don't think it should control an entirety of your being or actions, if that makes any sense.
No, that makes perfect sense.
And the other thing is realizing that no one really thinks about you. Everyone really only thinks about themselves. And you have to think about how other people think about themselves and how your actions should cater to people thinking about themselves. Or, you know, yeah. There's a lot of implications of realizing that everyone only thinks about themselves. And realizing that you too only think about yourself. And how you should account for that, I guess. Like, so for example, when you said, I don't show up to events as late as I usually do. I realize that other people have feelings as well. And other people like to feel important. And I don't want to waste other people's time by showing up late and thinking that my time is more important than theirs, right? And, okay, so the last thing on my list I have is good friends. I think good friends are important. Society and social, not socialism. Being social is important. Socialism, the jury's out on that still. But being social is very important. And yeah, back to the whole self-awareness thing. I'm especially grateful for people who, I don't want to say put up, people who continue to be my friend in my
people who support years. People who support you.
Yeah. People who put up with me or supported me when I don't think I was myself yet. Like I wasn't self-aware enough to be an adult, basically. Especially in elementary school, high school, and even like some of university. I don't think I was mature enough as a person, and I think I've done some awful things. Not awful things that I've done on purpose, but just awful things stemming from a lack of self-awareness and a lack of thinking of other people, I guess.
Wow.
And
dude,
people, I'm surprised that people, I'm surprised that people put up with me, and I'm glad that people put up with me when I wasn't as socially aware or self-aware, whatever. Because I don't think without that constant social contact or social interactions that I would have developed and matured or be an adult or whatever. I don't know if this sounds a little douchey or not, but yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Boom.
This was a good challenge, Eddie.
For you. I think you had a really interesting perspective on where you were looking in terms of what you were grateful for and the different aspects and different stems, internally, externally, socially. I really like that. For me, I was just looking with my eyes at what was around me, and I think you aced this challenge. I think you did a really good job.
When you have 2 hours a day before you can sleep, you get to a lot of thinking, I suppose. But no, that's all right. It makes sense to initially to just be thankful for things that affect you to the first degree, like things that are on the surface. Like it's just the things that are very easily visible and kind of low hanging fruit type.
Yeah, I also you got to resolve some of those issues that block you from seeing more. For example, unhappiness in your job, conflicts in your life. I think if you have a lot of those, it's really hard to see past those. It might make your mind more clear in seeing things around you in the world around you and saying, hey, that's cool. That's, I'm grateful for that. Or, this is cool or that's cool. So
I think also listening to a crap ton of podcasts, having other people think their thoughts out loud and converse with each other helped me think about all these things as well, I suppose.
All right, I think it's time to talk about this week's challenge.
This week's challenge. Do you listen to a podcast called Reply All? Probably not.
No, I don't.
I listen to 70 podcasts.
Oh, boy.
70 different shows.
Okay.
And this is 70 shows after I've ruthlessly cut out a lot this week.
Okay.
There was a lot of shows I wasn't really listening to. Anyways, Reply All podcasts. They're basically a bunch of people who aren't in tech and discuss the implications and cultural changes due to tech, like technology. Anyways, this week they did I don't know if it's this week, whatever. They did a show where one of their radio hosts, their Uber application was hacked.
Okay.
And it was showing on his phone that he had a taxi or an Uber waiting for him in Moscow. And then, his credit card got charged for a ride in Moscow. It was like $5 or whatever. And then the next day, I think he had a charge from Australia. So his Uber account was compromised, and that is a pretty awful thing to have. I don't know if you've ever had an issue with any of your accounts being compromised. Did your RuneScape or Neopet accounts get hacked? Were you tricked with those trades in elementary school?
Getting scammed? Maybe once or twice in RuneScape, but not to the point where my
trim your armor?
Password got leaked or whatever.
Okay. Anyways. So their show basically was tracking how did his Uber account basically get hacked, and how many passwords do you use across all of your different logins?
In terms of variations, I might have about 3 to 5, I think, that I use.
Yeah, Ripperino. Okay, so I basically have 3 to 5 different passwords that I basically use for everything, from my email to school to phone, Trello, Dropbox, all my banking, the CRA login, all the travel sites. I use the same password, and that's how the radio show's host password or Uber account got compromised. Is one of those tens of websites that he uses got hacked, and they collected the passwords and emails, And basically, since most people use the same 3 to 5 passwords for everything, you can just kind of brute force the other accounts and see which other accounts you use the same email and password for, and see if you can log into there, and then you can sell the confirmed Uber hacked accounts, and then people in Moscow can take taxis on your behalf and get your credit card charged. So that's what happened to him. And during their investigation, they found a website called haveibeenowned.com, but owned spelled with a P. I'll link it to you.
Okay.
And that is a site to check whether or not your email and or password has been passed around on these like sale sites, or like sites that sell people's like bulk collections of people's passwords.
Wow.
So
okay.
Eddie's saying, how many emails do you have?
I have, I think 2 or 3 or 4.
All right, so go to the website and type your most used email into the search box and see if you have been owned.
Okay, let me take a look at this. It says I have 1 breach.
Yep, so and when I type it in, I have 3 breach sites that my main email has been compromised in. So
Rip.
how does this make you feel, Eddie?
Not good. Not very good at all.
Are you Donald Trump?
It's time to change everything now.
Looking at the slave museum, how does that make you feel? Not good. Not good at all.
It's
Anyways, the recommendation in the show was to use something called a password manager.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of a password manager before?
I have, but I'm not sold. I'm not sold on.
Why aren't you sold on it?
I'm not sold on whether a password manager is better than a paper or pen. We're talking about software. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Are you gonna sell me?
Well, all the tech experts agree. A password manager is 1,000 times safer than any other form of securing your accounts. So this week's challenge, I'd like for us to try out a password manager suggested by a lot of people, actually.
Okay.
Do you remember the Dubai Friday episode where Max Temkin, or was it Max? One of them talked about like security and like encrypting all your stuff, 2-factor authentication, yada yada yada. The password manager is basically the lowest hanging fruit and the least complicated way to secure yourself. Like I don't think I'll ever do 2-factor. That's so much work. I should, but it's so much work. A password manager is easier. But even a password manager is quite a bit of work. So I basically want to issue this challenge because I want to secure my passwords.
Alrighty.
And I'm too lazy to do it by myself, so I need someone to do it with me, so that we don't get destroyed by hackers.
Okay, let's do it.
Anyways, the problem is, I started looking into it this week, and then I made a list of the passwords that I need to be managed by this password manager, which I'm not sure how much work it is, but here's my list. My 3 emails on my Gmail, my uToronto email, my phone service, my OneNote email, Trello, Dropbox, Rescue Time, the National Student Loan Services, the Government of Canada online services, the CRA, Amazon.com. On my banking, I have Mint, TD, CIBC, Tangerine, PayPal, BMO, Fido, MasterCard, NBNA. Do you see how this is a problem?
Holy moly.
I have the Bay, Boreal, Priority Pass, Equifax. On my social media, I have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, LinkedIn. On my travel websites, I have Aeroplan, Air Canada, WestJet, Cardigo, BMO Rewards, Marriott Rewards, and my SQM Mystery Shopping travel service.
Holy moly.
So that's a lot of I didn't think I had that many passwords, But now that I think about
You
it,
have
I
a
do.
lot. And also, you forgot Steam and Overwatch.